All righty. So I have a recording.
All right.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Soulful Leaders Academy. And today is a special day because I want to present to you what I will have to offer and will offer you in the future. And let's just share the screen and just look at nothing, my former dogs. Okay, here we go. Let me do a new share and share the screen instead of just a window. That's better. And of course, some of you may know that I do life coach and also health coach certification trainings. I'm just starting to offer them because I think the whole world deserves to be coached. Coaching is a wonderful modality that, as opposed to regular healthcare and psychologists, has no barriers to entry, which is an advantage because, of course, everybody can do it, which is also a disadvantage because scammers can also do it. So it's a buyer's beware out there currently. And I recommend everybody to look at qualifications of anybody that tells them anything about health and wellness, and especially when it comes to mental health, because people do damage sometimes. Not everybody, most are very well intentioned. So that said, uh, what my certified soulful leaders life coaching, and I just wanted to show the health coaching and life coaching training can do is to give you a foundation to effectively help other people's change in a direction that they want. So you're not the one telling them what to do. You're just helping them, keeping them accountable, and fulfilling their goals. That's the thing. It's not about you at all. That's why to be an excellent coach, you really don't have to know anything. And I will talk about the distinction between coach and teacher also, because there's a very big difference. A coach is somebody that leads a coachee or a client deeper into themselves in a safe space and helps them realize things that they may not have realized before, those aha moments, insights. And in a coaching relationship, the client is the expert. The client has a life, they are functional, they are not dependent on you in any way. And you're not dependent on them. So it's a truly equal relationship. And that way, in a coaching relationship, it's a guidance at best. Whereas when you teach something, people that you teach, students, expect that you have at least a good grasp of the knowledge of the subject, have done some research, and are able to present it to them in a meaningful way. So there's knowledge involved when you teach, there is care and questioning involved when you coach. And many coaches confuse it, and many teachers don't know the difference. And coaches, and there's coaches that are also teachers. There's coaches that think they are coaches, but really are teachers. And that was me when I started coaching, to be honest, because I had no idea what the difference is. Now, what do I teach in my certified Soulful Nutrition, Health, and Life Coach teaching program? Now, besides the reality of that, is here's the curriculum, because this is what you really need to know. You want to be able to connect with others, to establish rapport and trust. And we already taught that in the Art of Soulful Sales course, because it is just as important if you want to sell a product as well as you want to sell the clients to sell themselves a better life. That's in the end what a coach does. It sells somebody else a better life. So you establish rapport and trust with your clients. You clarify their expectations and goals. It's not your goal, it's their goal and they have expectations, and you agree on a coaching contract as well as the boundaries. And there's a lot involved in actually doing it. You can use contract templates. Just a second. Okay. I love you too, Woody. This is my dog. He doesn't want to stop barking. All right, it's life. And in the next phase, you help your client to gain awareness and insight into their current reality. And I tell you, it is very powerful to see yourself and what you are saying reflected in the mirror of somebody else that is in a safe space and cares about you. It is eye-opening sometimes, and I have experienced that. And I said, really? That's how I come over? Oh my God, that's insight. Uh, you get insight in their reality, their challenges, their strengths, their values, and their vision. And you learn to use powerful questions, your intuition, and other tools to help your client to discover new perspective and possibilities. In the end, the coach holds the potential, the possibilities, holds space for that. So the client can over time grow into that space of their ultimate potential and ultimate possibilities that they may not be able to see at that point. Then you can teach and transform to a certain extent. You can support your client to create and implement a plan of action, because without action, it's just thinking around the bush or thinking in circles. Many of us do that. Our brain constantly goes around, and nowhere. And with a coach can help you to create and implement an action plan that aligns with the client's vision and values. You can use targeted education, affirmations, visualization, meditation, and other techniques. I love havening techniques to help your client to overcome obstacles, embrace change, and achieve their desired outcomes. And that is very rewarding. And of course, at the end, the best part in the end is to celebrate it, to acknowledge and appreciate your client's progress and success. And how many of us don't do it for our own self in our own life? Many people devalue their little successes. Like, hey, we are here today together. That's success. Let's celebrate it. I mean, I could also,
Yes.
yeah, we could also say, oh, it's only two people that came. I'm a failure. Well, it's my choice, right?
Yeah, we're here. That's all we need. We're
Yeah.
it's we're here, we're winning, we're making it happen, we're taking action.
And
Got to move
that's it.
forward.
It's our definition. It's the same situation and it's two ways to look at it. One way makes you feel good and want to continue. The
Hmm.
other way says, oh, well, I can as well crawl under the carpet and cry. Same situation. And
Right.
that's the main difference between success and failure, depression and happiness. The way we think about an identical situation, our thoughts, our process. I get to that. I should stop the share because I want to show you something. But one of my mentors, Dr. Joseph McClendon, says, and I really love the simple way he shows how our thoughts influence our actions. And he does it in a little kind of rhymey sing-song. He says, as I think, so I feel. As I feel, so I do. And as
Yes.
I do, so I have.
Hmm.
And that's really the way it works. As I think, so I feel. The thoughts precede the feeling. And then the feeling precedes the action. Our emotions make us act. That's the main value of and the purpose of our emotions. Because many people, have you ever asked yourself, why do we feel emotions? Why are we not just reason?
Hmm.
I think we would just sit in front of a computer and be bored.
Right.
Without emotion, life wouldn't be possible. And there's no negative emotions. So many people think, oh, I'm angry. I should stop being angry. No, there's better ways to deal with the feeling of anger because it's your choice. I'm big on choices, how you express your anger. You can choose to take a hammer, smash the monitor or your husband's head, not a good idea. Or you can say, oh, I feel really angry right now. And then you can use it to generate energy, to change the situation, to go to therapy together with your husband, to tell him how you really feel, or to get a divorce when there's no other option, or get a better computer, or change settings so it doesn't frustrate you as much anymore. There's always options. Many people can't see options. So I'm very big. A good life consists of curiosity, of connections with others, and confident solving of problems, and of calmness. I call them sometimes the three C's: curiosity, confidence, calmness. Because we have to be curious. What's in it? What else can I do? What is in it for the other person? What can I do with it? Why do I want to do it? Why do I even want to be there? What else could I do? What are my options? There's always options until you're dead. Then God knows what we have for options then. I don't know. Curious to see what's after death, see? And then, of course, the confidence. And confidence for me means I have the feeling that whatever life throws at me, I can deal with it. And that is really a very nice definition of confidence because whatever happens, I'll deal with it somehow. Yeah, I feel bad. Of course, when life throws me in the next hole and I'm bankrupt, my husband leaves me, my best friend dies, it doesn't feel good at all. But the confidence to deal with whatever life throws at you, and that eventually the hope, faith, and love, the biblical trio, that whatever happens, there's hope. There may be something better. If not in this life, maybe in the next. We don't know. So that's confidence. And the calmness is, well, why should I get upset about things that I cannot change? And the famous saying from a pastor, by the way, very interesting. I think in the 15th century, Pastor Niebuhr said, God gave me, the courage to change the things I can change, the calmness to accept the things that I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that difference is sometimes very hard to discern. We all have had situations where we tried to change it, and then later we realized, well, there's nothing I can do. Just look at COVID, right?
Right.
I didn't like when it happened. I thought, oh, well, just let's change the situation. Didn't work. Okay. It is what it is. Very nice saying. And the Alcoholics Anonymous have a whole 12-step program that, by the way, I love. It's transferable to all aspects of life. So it's really fascinating how it all goes together. So that's part of what I want to teach over some time and piece by piece, because there's a lot in it. And I want to share what I learned with those who are interested to hear it. And weeks 1 and 6 of my health and life coaching program will be identical to the life coach certification training. And I'll talk about what it is and how that's different. And you can read that in peace yourself. I'll talk about listening and questioning skills. And we'll practice it because listening is hard. I'm not a master yet. I don't know if I ever will. That's why I'm teaching more than listening. I have a very good friend, and she is the best listener I ever experienced. And I told her that, and she didn't even know it. She didn't realize what a good listener she is. So she was surprised. And I said, you would make a good coach. Now she's in her late 70s, so that's not something she wants to do. But she said, well, I had to listen or I would have been abused as a child. That's the way she learned it. It's sad for
Mhm.
her sake, but she is really an excellent listener. So sometimes there's a forced listening skill. But anybody can learn empathetic listening and positive feedback. That's part of coaching. And goal setting and action planning. We all need to do it. And we all probably have learned about SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, actionable, reasonable, and timely, or something like that. The
Mhm.
sad thing is, most of the time, they don't work. And I thought about it long and hard when I tried to lose my weight and keep it off. And I thought, why don't they work? And then I went to Brendon Burchard's Expert Academy, and he talked about the dumb goals. And I thought, that sounds really dumb. And I asked, like all other people in the room, what is it? And he explained, he likes to explain. He's a pretty interesting guy. So he said, dumb goals is what you need to start with, because the D in dumb stands for dream based. Might have heard of vision boards or anchor images. That's exactly it. You have to need a vision. You want first to set the general direction before you get specific. Because what good is it if I say to myself, a SMART goal, I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 3 months and a half a pound a week? Just thinking about it makes me feel, I can't
Mhm.
eat my favorite food. It makes me feel awful. That's not what I want to do. I want to eat my favorite foods, right? The dumb goal to that would be, well, my ultimate life goal is really to be able to play with my grandchildren next time I see them. And still in 20 years, I'm 63. Maybe if I'm 80, I still want to get around so I can play with my grandchildren. I can travel. I can visit them. I can do what fulfills me. I can teach. I can maybe even speak on stages. A little bit like Brendon Burchard. I don't think I'll get 1,000 people in the room, but why not? Dreaming is limitless. And do not limit yourself when you're dreaming. If you want to think about yourself speaking in a stadium in front of 50,000, 100,000, a million people on TV, go for it. Nothing wrong with it. Just because your mom said or your wife it doesn't work doesn't mean anything. It has been achieved before. Will we achieve it? God knows. I certainly don't. And but it is a dream. We all need a dream. Martin Luther said that so nicely. I have a dream. For him, it was
Mhm.
white and black together. Great dream. It came true, most of it. That's kind of. Let's put it that way. But it's a good dream that because we are all the same humans. My dear husband, I quote him always when I want to say something that is not quite politically correct. He also say we all eat the same, we all shit the same, right? And it's
Right.
humans are all the same. When I cut
Yes.
myself, it's blood, and it doesn't matter what color my skin, what my political beliefs, whatever. And that's it. The dream in the dream based is important. But then there's the second thing. Your dream goal cannot just be a dream. For example, if I think of what other people's dream might be, like owning a big house and a garden, it doesn't do anything for me. That's not my dream. It may be yours, it's fine. But a real good dream is a purpose at the same time. And it makes you feel uplifted. There's a you in the dumb. It's uplifting. When you think about that goal, oh, I want to run around with my grandchildren. I want to see them get bigger, maybe even see the great grandchildren. Wouldn't that be nice? Those babies, they're so cute. And I want to teach them what I've learned as much as I can. Maybe they're receptive. We don't know. So that is uplifting to me. I feel great when I think about it. And then you start thinking, well, to achieve that, what do I need? You break it down and you say, okay, if my legs don't carry me anymore, I have to sit in a wheelchair. That makes it much harder. If I'm dead by then because I succumbed to cancer or other chronic diseases that are in part at least avoidable, I don't see them. My goal does not get achieved. My dream does not get realized. So, okay, then comes the next part. What can I do to stay healthy? And from my experience, I know I like to eat. I'm an emotional eater. I would eat all day if I could. How about chocolate and cake and ice cream and cookies and chips all day long and watch TV, sit on the Chesterfield, do nothing. It's boring, by the way. Makes you depressed when you try to do it. But it goes through my head sometimes, and the fridge calls me. And at that point, when you think about, if I do that, does it take me closer to my goal of running around with my great grandchildren? When I'm honest, I say, no, the opposite will happen. Yes, your great grandmother, Emily, come. So happy for you. I'm a great aunt. That's as far as I can have come so far, and a grandmother, which is great. But you're a little bit further ahead in life than I am. And sometimes I say to people that are older than me, you are better than I at aging. And it's true. Emily, you're better than me at aging. Congratulations and thank you for being a role model. Because in the end, being a role model is, in my opinion, a great goal.
That's my goal. That's funny. I was thinking about that a couple of minutes ago when you were talking. I was thinking what my goal was, and I was like, I want to be a good role model and leader for my family and for my grandkids and great grandkids. To show them the way.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. It's amazing. And for me, it means being on a journey of constant personal growth, self improvement, because nobody's perfect. I would like to be. There were periods in my life where I thought I am, but just ask my husband. He rolled his eyes. He knows that far from perfect, and he knows it exactly, and he would be happy to spend half an hour to tell you every detail about it. And I couldn't say anything against it because he would be right. So all of us are more or less imperfect, right? And so I want to talk, that's just a general thing. And then I want to talk about how our body works, the mind body soul connection. And as a Havening techniques practitioner, which is in my books, it's a neurosensory technique. That means it's a connection between body and mind and soul, or body and mind and spirit. And it can help to reestablish it. And I had a conversation with a wonderful energy healer the other day, a healer, and you probably both know her, but she's not here, so I don't mention her name. And I said, I see havening techniques as a step from people that are still stuck in their body to have an option to open themselves, that there's more in life than just physical health. And there is. And havening techniques can really show you how body, mind, and soul intertwine. And there's so much to it. And I'm so blessed to be able to teach it to others and become a havening trainer and teach and train certified havening techniques practitioners next year. I'm looking forward to that. Now, gut health, absorption, digestion, and the microbiome, physical health. It's important because our brain is part of our mind. Mental health is brain health, says Dr. Amen, and he's right. Body is important, mind is important, soul is important. They have to be in balance. The secret to a good life is having things in balance and accepting that opposites are the same. I think it's an interesting concept that opposites are really the same. And I got that from the Indian and Chinese sages. When you look at the Chinese symbol for yin and yang, one is a white half circle, kind of, with a black dot in the middle. That's the opposite. One is a black one with a white dot in the middle. That is a symbol of the opposite. So opposites have, yeah, the sit has the opposite in it. Bad English, but you know what I mean. So it's all the same. And the more you realize that whatever is all the same, and it's all consistent out of universal energy, some call it love, and you can break it down into the spark that makes our body, the spark that makes our brain, and it's all a spark of the universal energy, God, Jehovah, Javi, whatever you want. There's something there that we cannot put into measurements, cannot put into uh, numbers in a way, and cannot quantify and cannot treat with chemotherapy, for example. So this always fascinates me. And I learned a lot about it. I grew a lot through it. And that is part of my mission, to help others grow themselves and then in turn be able to give it forward, pay it forward to others. Because I'm not satisfied just teaching you something. I want you to be able to pay it forward and teach it to others, or help others see options that they didn't see before. And there's practical skills that are important, like anatomy, physiology. We want to understand how our body works, because modern medicine is excellent. There's so much done. And I've worked on my fusion method. I love names and structures. I applied my fusion method to weight loss in this blog post. You find it on my weight loss website. And what it is, the fusion method is really holistic weight loss, which includes all the root causes and helps all the root causes in one integrated, integrative approach, if you want. I will not bore you with that right now. It is complex, it's complicated. I will do lots of videos about it, because in the end, it is so simple. Because what it means is, yes, our conventional medicine and in part naturopathy puts it in all into specialties. We look at all the little details, which can be helpful. Don't get me wrong. But in the end, a human is a unit of human, and we are connected to a higher self. And if a physician, I always think that doctor, by the way, is a Latin word. Docere comes from teacher. Docere means teaching. A doctor should teach the patient, not tell them what to do. It's always the patient's thing. And when I was a physician, we learned that a good medicine is as much an art as a science. And just seeing it as a science leaves 90% of the goodness out of it in my books. The human in front of us is what matters, not a specific illness. And many physicians have not learned to see that, or the system doesn't let them see that. It all goes together in unholy trinity, duality, or whatever it is. Is there an easy solution? No. Is there a simple solution? Absolutely. The simple solution is listen to yourself and to your inner voice, because you are the expert for your life. And then make a decision that makes sense for your specific situation, and be ready to enjoy or suffer the consequences of your decisions. Can be both. And often we don't know what will happen. And there's a lot to it, of course, in value systems and in morals. And it's really interesting. And we'll break that all down over time. That's part what I want to do, because I love all how it goes together. Now, I just wanted to tell you about havening techniques a little bit, because havening techniques is what I will teach. And one of my teachers is a havening practitioner, Harry Pickens, and he teaches that how to use havening, and I will do the same eventually. How we can access and activate desirable, empowering states of being, like joy, patience, courage, or confidence on demand. And it works. I know it because I do it every day. How to choose the specific emotional and mental states that we need in any given moment, so that you or your clients can intentionally shape their daily experience and reactions. I can do it. So can you learn to do it if you can't do it yet. How to connect more powerfully with your best self, with that secret self inside of you, while still having both feet solidly on the ground. How to cultivate a strong sense of agency so that you can take control of your life's direction and choices yourself, because it's all about responsibility. We need to teach our children responsibility as much as they can bear, age appropriate, of course. And we need to build capacity. He calls it radical resilience. Isn't that cool? Because our people these days, we are so weak. We need to become more resilient, and so that we can effectively bounce back from adversity and thrive under pressure. Now, here in Nova Scotia, it is seeding time. So we seeded seeds. Isn't that interesting? We are talking about seed nutrition,
Mhm.
and I just put seeds in the ground for the garden, for vegetables. I love to grow vegetables and see the seeds unfold themselves and grow into something that is useful. Just like people, right? When we grow up, we want to become something useful. And just like seeds, when they grow, they need to be nourished. They need nourishment, they need water, they need their minerals and whatever. People, same thing. And seeds also, seedlings, when they grow a little older and you raise them indoors, like we have to do here in Nova Scotia in our climate, at some point we have to harden them off to the outdoors. Now, it's the same that we need to do with our children when they grow up. We need to harden them off to be resilient in the outside world, outside of the haven of the family. We need to prepare them for the harsh world that's waiting outside for them, so they will be able to deal with that, with the three C's: curiosity, confidence, and calmness. Hey, yeah, dad said I can handle that. Okay, let's see. Let's try it. That's confidence. And it's hard. And if we teach our kids, oh, be careful, you can't do that, the best thing we can say. And there's a lot to it. And I really think that is something that is missing a lot. And our children in the public system, especially, have been seriously neglected to be challenged and held accountable and responsible for their action in a loving way. I don't want kids to be abused or punished. I want them to help. There's an excellent course, by the way, by Dr. Daniel Fay, who's an associate with Dr. Amen, Parenting with Love and Logic, one of the best parenting programs I ever seen. So logically, it's amazing. I wish I had had that when I had my kids. Now, we need to cultivate confidence, grit, determination in service of the important goals. And any real life purpose goes beyond your own life purpose. It goes and opens you up to others, to serve others, to service of some kind. And of course, we all want to connect with the wisdom of our bodies for better self care and healing. Make better, smarter, and faster decisions. Look at that, by awakening intuitive awareness. Yeah, we talk right down the same alley. I love intuition or gut feeling. It was a gut feeling when I drove down the highway, wanted to commit suicide, that told me, no, you don't want to die, you want help. And it made me go to the emergency room, although I didn't want it at the time.
Mhm.
So listen to your gut. It's your little inner voice. It's usually very often inspired by some spiritual source. Innate sense of aliveness and well-being. There's all kinds of methods to create that connect with that and to interconnect body, mind, and spirit. And I'll teach as many of them as I can. And I will invite guest teachers because there's other people that know more than I do. And it's such a
Mhm.
show off all those wonderful people that I know. Address procrastination and self-sabotage. Who likes to put things off? I used to. I learned how to overcome it. I can teach it. Other people can teach it too. Mental strength. Transform overwhelm into opportunity. I like the way he puts things. He's so good with words. Learn anything more easily and quickly. Now that's pretty easy. Boundless creative potential. It's not that hard. For many people, it is actually because it means to open yourself up to possibility. Connect deeply with your spiritual essence and envision and embody your most powerful future self and rewire your brain for less stress and more joy. And that all can be done with evening techniques and other mind body techniques that I want to teach you. And I want to empower you to teach to your future client, to your family, friends, whoever wants to learn it. Now, one caveat, not everybody wants to hear that. When I tried to coach my husband, he said, I don't want to change. I'm happy the way I am. Okay, I got it clear and loud. The way I affect change with him is indirectly, because you can change your partner's behavior that you don't like by changing your own behavior, because it's always a two-way street and you can never change anybody else. That's a bad insight that I had to take, because I always said, why don't you? Why are you not different? It's your fault that I'm not. Oh, nonsense. The opposite is true. The only person that we can control is the one between the 2 ears. There. I think that's a small overview of the things that are coming up. I'll break that down in little pieces. And starting next week, we'll teach parts of the life coaching course to start, because why not? There's good stuff in it. And then we'll go on to the health coaching course. And then at latest, the spring 2025, I'll teach havening, self-havening on online, and the certification courses for those who are interested in it. Any questions?
Wow, that was a lot of great information. I got some good notes, and I'm excited to learn all of it. And I've been working on some of the mental aspects as of late. That's where I've been having a trouble is or challenges with my keeping my thoughts positive. And I'm always having a battle within my own mind, and I feel myself drifting off into maybe more negativity or self-doubt. And then I'm trying to realize that as quickly as possible and change it to positive and change maybe what I'm doing, whatever I have to do to come out of that.
Okay.
And you drift into it just, without even knowing. Next thing you know, you're in there and you're starting thinking all these things and like, wait, this isn't, I gotta flip the script here.
That's a really good point that you're making. Do you think it's bad to have negative thoughts?
I don't know if it's bad, but I don't want to stay in that in there for long. If I do start, maybe, I mean, it could bring to my attention something I need to work on, but I need to realize it quickly and get out of that, because, you start going down that spiral and, it just leads to nowhere good. So, I mean, if you don't get out of it and try to change it. So
How
I
do you
want to stay
get out
in
of it and try
positivity.
to change it, as you say?
Excuse me?
How do you get out of it and try to change it?
Oh, well, I'll start feeding myself some positive affirmations immediately. Start focusing on the things, the small wins, like you said, even if they're the tiniest thing that I've done throughout the day that I can take as a win. Because there are a lot of wins, but it seems like we focus on the losses more. That's what sticks in our head more. You think of the things that you should have did differently. So I try to focus on the things that I did accomplish and tell myself the things I'm doing right, and then maybe if I'm having a hard time with that, then I want to get up and do something different, go for a walk. I like to get outside in nature a lot because that really changes my energy instantly. Maybe if I can't get outside, then I want to maybe just do some exercise or some prayer, some meditation, put on some nice relaxing music, change up the atmosphere a little bit, stuff like that. That's what I try to use. And I've been battling with that daily, just trying to keep my mind where I want it to be,
Okay.
in a better place.
You know that those are all great suggestions and tools that you mentioned. And I'm happy that you are using every one of them because they are very powerful. My attitude about thoughts is there's no negative and positive thoughts. They're just sad thoughts, like clouds on the sky. And what you can learn to do is you notice them. Oh, there's this cloud here. What am I thinking? I'm an idiot. Okay, so what? Is it true? Really? When I consider that I have finished grade 12, it's probably not true. So I can let it go and say the truth is, maybe I made a mistake right 5 minutes before I had that thought. But in the end, I'm not a too stupid person per se, and I'm not an idiot by no means. So it's always nice to find ways to acknowledge those thoughts, notice them as what there is, just parts of the brain if you want. Some smell like roses, some don't. And let them go in the air and dissipate like clouds in the sun. And that way, you don't attach to them, you don't focus on them. And there's nothing wrong with negative thoughts. And it's important to know that our brain is actually hardwired for negativity, hardwired for anxiety. You know why?
Survival.
Absolutely. Just imagine 10,000 years ago, you were living in a cave. And every time you left the cave, there was mortal danger, real danger. There was maybe a tiger waiting for you, there was starvation waiting for you. Fear was an essential skill. If you didn't, the little crackle of the twig should alert you. Oh, danger, I could die, run. Our brain is still hardwired. It doesn't change that fast. 10,000 years is nothing for evolution. And many people don't realize that. Our brain did not evolve with our civilization, and especially not with technology. And I think when we know that and appreciate that, we can tell ourselves, hey, it's just a brain thing, let it go. It's okay.
But that was my challenge, I guess, letting them go. Sometimes they would stick too long, and I started focusing on that. And it's like, okay, I need to let it go and move on to something that makes me feel better. And because I want to feel good ultimately all the time. So I try
That doesn't
to.
work, by the way.
Right. Well, yeah, it's it's always going to be a challenge for sure.
I compared with a dark black hole, right? And there's the dark hole where you're stuck. That's called depression. And then you need somebody else usually to help you out the first time. And then you need some help to build a ladder. So eventually you learn to crawl out of the hole yourself. And in the beginning, it takes forever. And then you get faster because you get exercise. You know how to get out of the hole now. You know there's another way outside. And then eventually you can build yourself what I call a pogo stick. So when life throws you in that hole again, you have your little pogo stick. Out you go. And that's the same thing. When people are depressed, they go down that rabbit hole. That's a dark hole. They need that little ladder. And that's the tools that use have a lot of them. And we learn some more with Havening and other tools. So you'll always have a tool that works. And don't beat yourself up. Life throws you in the dark hole. Say, oh yeah, hi, dark hole. I'm back. Hey, where's my poker stick? Let's get out here. I think the skill is really to accept it. Okay, life threw me back in the black hole. Let's get out. I looked at my bank statement and there was nothing in it. It's a black hole there. I feel miserable. Or I tried 3 sales and I lost all 3 of them. It's a black hole there. Take the pogo stick. And as you said, nature is a great healer. I love going barefoot on the lawn. You're
Yeah.
fortunate. You live in a warm climate, but even in the snow, barefoot in the snow is nice.
Mhm. Yes, I love to get grounded, and it always makes me feel better. I mean, you can really feel that you're getting connected, and that's where I like to be. I like to be under the trees and under the sky and hearing the birds and the grass. I mean, it's just feels good to be there.
Yeah, yeah. And many people need to learn that again. I had a friend and I said to her, why don't you walk barefoot on the grass? I said, barefoot? That's dirty. No wonder she's anxious and upset a lot of it.
Right. Yes, we need to be connected. I believe, everything living's connected. We need to be part of that.
Yeah, we are part of that, whether we like it or not. And
Mm,
yes, your feet may get dirty. You might get a tick that you'd later have to remove or look for. You might get bit by ants or whatever, or you
mm,
might step on a stone and it hurts. Big deal.
right.
And it's very interesting what people are afraid of. And we'll talk about different ways to overcome fear and the different kinds of fears that rule our life and prevent us from doing the things that we really want to do next time.
Yes.
I can't wait to see you again. And thank you for coming on today. And I hope to see you again.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. It was great. I enjoyed this time very much.
Having every one of you there. And if you know somebody that might benefit, let them know about it. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye bye.